If you are looking for bets for UFC Vegas 111, look no further. How we doing, everybody? My name is Young Pasty, the whitest to do it, the whitest in the land, all right? And I am here today to give you all of my official bets for UFC Vegas 111. I got 5 bangers coming your way, and you will not be disappointed. We are back at the Apex this week. Just like last week, some crazy stuff happened. I'm sure some crazy stuff will happen this week. We just have to hope we are on the right end of things, right? Let's pull the results up for UFC Vegas 110. And guess what? We profit. Plus 0.22 units for last week. We got to pull the gloves out, okay? We got to pull the gloves out. The handmade crochet boxing gloves, we pull these out every time we have a winning week. I know it's only plus 0.22 units, but we really needed it. We had to get out of that cold streak. The mean machine, Steve Garcia, comes through for us. So, mean machine, thank you. The 3-pick parlay of the week smacks per usual. This Ante Delija fight really pissed me off. It really should have. It should have really been a no contest after all that stuff that they did. Pulling a stool out in the octagon, reviewing things like, what are these refs doing? Did they just forget the rules and just kind of do what they want? I really don't know. Bet number 4. Fight ends in KO in the Radke versus Frunze fight. Man, look, I'll give it to you. I was wrong. I did not see Radke coming out with a super heavy grappling approach like that. I mean, yeah, Frunze has no defense for it. I guess he just took the path to least resistance. And then bet number 5, Kevin Christian. Oh, man. Clubbed and subbed. Wow. That was the... At least it got done quick, right? At least it got done quick. And we weren't looking at like a robbery or anything like that, man. Just a bad look on Kevin Christian, and I guess, props to Billy Elicana, but Steve Garcia and the bet number 3-pick parlay of the week come through for us, so thank goodness. And again, plus 0.22 units for last week. Now, I do have to mention, since we didn't do a video last week for the bets, UFC 321 lost 5.6787 units. Yeah, that was a bad week. So again, just transparent on things. That was a terrible week for UFC 321. But we profited last week. Okay, we ended the cold streak and we got to pull the gloves out. All right, so let's get to it for this week though. UFC Vegas 111, as promised. 5 bangers coming your way today. Okay. And let's start it off with bet number 1. This is my most confident play of the week. We sort these in confidence, so bet number 1 is always my most confident play of the week, and then it moves on down from there. So bet number 1 for UFC Vegas 111, we are rolling with Daniel Marcos minus 170. We are putting 2.25 units on it. He's going up against Miles Johns, who is a solid opponent. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think it's going to go all 3 rounds, but I think Daniel Marcos is going to be the one that's going to get his hand raised, all right? He's going up against great competition, has solid wins in the UFC. Yeah, you lost to Montel Jackson, but would Miles Johns lose to Montel Jackson? Probably. And that's your first loss ever. So that I'm not going to really knock you for that, because before that you beat Adrian Yanez. Before that you beat John Castaneda. Before that you beat David Grant. These are 3 great wins to have in the UFC. Daniel Marcos is, in my opinion, surging. I think he's looking really good. I think his striking is much better than Miles Johns. Miles Johns may have the advantage maybe in the wrestling and the cage push, but Daniel Marcos won't hold that, just accept bottom position or just get held on the fence, right? That's not going to happen for 3 rounds. And Miles Johns will tire himself out. He may win the first round. Okay, Miles Johns may win the first round. He really only has wrestling and like an overhand. In my opinion, he just throws crazy shots. Daniel Marcos is the much more technical fighter. He can fend off the takedowns, strike at range, pick them apart. I like Daniel Marcos. I'm a fan of Daniel Marcos. That's why he's bet number 1 of the week. That's why he's my most confident play of the week. Yes, it's at minus 170. It's a little bit juicy to put in as a singular unit bet, but I didn't want to pair him up with anybody. I just said, hey, minus 170. We'll just eat the juice a little bit so we can get the win. I believe in Daniel Marcos here. I think he gets a solid decision win over Miles Johns. So, Daniel Marcos, minus 170, 2.25 units. That is my most confident play of the week. Bet number 1. Let's go. All right, moving on to bet number 2. We are rolling with Hyder, Amil, minus 150. We are putting 2 units on it. He is going up against Jamall, Emmers, who may have a good first round, has some decent boxing, but let's look at the track record of freaking Jamall Emmers. He's been on a win-lose streak for the last 8 fights. He just won his last fight. What does that mean? He's going to lose the next one. He has never strung 2 wins in a row together in the UFC, ever. And that's inconsistent, man. Hyder Amil coming off his first loss ever versus Jose Delgado. I'm sure he wants to get that back right quick. I think that Jamall Emmers has problems with people who are in his face and pressure him and smother him with the pressure. Guess what Hyder Amil does? That's his whole style and his whole game, dude. Pressure you, get in your face, throw heavy bombs, like cage push, even grapple and wrestle. Throw that, mix that in as well with the takedowns too. He's just going to be constantly throwing out volume, throwing out strikes. And again, Jamall Emmers may have a couple good strikes, but Hyder Amil is a dog, man. Hyder Amil wants to fight. You saw in that Jose Delgado fight, he got knocked out, but he still wanted to fight. He was getting back up and still trying to fight, even though he was clearly out of it, right? Jose Delgado cracked him, but Hyder Amil beat William Gomes, right? Jamall Emmers, similar type of style, much less cardio, much less technical, and has a little more power. But again, Hyder Amil is going to make Emmers wilt. Okay, that's his game. 3 rounds of just heavy smothering pressure. I think he finds a finish in the second or third round. Again, Jamall Emmers is pretty good in the first round, but Hyder Amil is going to just overwhelm him, smother him with pressure, and eventually find that knockout, man. Jamall Emmers is going to, Jamall Emmers, not to say he's a quitter or has given up, but he's definitely curled up and stopped, defending and taking shots in some of his losses, man. And look, it's not like he's out here beating world beaters, man. Gabriel Miranda, Denis Bazuki, Koisin Askabov, and the people he's losing to, like Giga Chikadze, Pat Sabatini, Jack Jenkins, Nate Landwehr. Man, the Nate Landwehr fight is a good comp to this fight because, yeah, he cracked Nate Landwehr, but Nate Landwehr, again, it has a similar style to Hyder. It's just in your face, pressure, made him wilt, and eventually found the knockout shot. So I got Hyder Amil. I got him by finish, but we just got him on the money line here. Okay, minus 150. We are putting 2 units on it. That is bet number 2 of the week. Let's go. Moving on to bet number 3, our 3 pick parlay of the week. You guys know what it is. We find 3 good legs, put them all together to get a good number. Now, if you're new around here or if you have not, please click that subscribe button. We are on the road to 400 subscribers. We just hit 350 the other day. So again, would really appreciate it if you could click that button for me. Now let's get to it. Bet number 3, the 3 pick parlay of the week. The one that usually smacks. Okay, we make sure this one smacks. Over 1.5 in the Pennington versus Gomes fight. Ricky Simone, money line. Joseph Morales, money line. Plus 140. We're putting 1.25 units on it. I think we're getting pretty solid value in all 3 of these legs. First, over 1.5 in the Pennington versus Gomes fight. I mean, come on now. I think this is self-explanatory. These girls consistently go to decision. Pennington is going up against some of the best and not getting finished. Gomes, yes, she just knocked out Elise Reed, but I mean, come on now, it's Elise Reed, right? But went to decision with Angela Hill. I believe she goes at least over 1.5 rounds in this fight. Both of these women. Second, Ricky Simone taking over Raoni Barcelos. Look, both of these guys are dogs, but I think Ricky Simone just outdogs and outworks Raoni Barcelos. I think he mixes in the wrestling and the grappling. I think Raoni Barcelos is not going to be able to have those moments in space, right? I think Simone's just going to be in his face the whole time. Blonde Ricky Simone is a different animal here, okay? And Ricky Simone was going up against some of the best, and those are really his only losses. And yes, Barcelos has looked good in the recent past. I mean, man, Cody Garbrandt beating Payne Talbot, like some solid wins, right? But neither of those people presented the wrestling or grappling threat that Simone does. I think he's able to hold him up against the cage. I think he's able to take him down. I think he's just able to pour on the volume on Barcelos because he's super hittable. Yes, Simone's going to take shots, but I got faith in my boy Ricky Simone here. I think he outdogs Barcelos. We've seen Barcelos outdogged before. All right, you put two dogs together. I got this dog here, Ricky Simone. And then lastly, Joseph Morales is taking on Matt Schnell. Guys, I think Matt Schnell's cooked. Yes, he won his last fight versus Jimmy Flick. Yes, I picked Matt Schnell in that last fight, right? But that was his first fight out of retirement, going up against really just primarily a grappler who isn't really too good at the striking. Morales has both, man. Morales shined in his last fight versus Adiras, and I think he has a lot more power in the hands. I think he has the edge in the grappling and the wrestling. I think he's able to take down Schnell and finish him on the mat. Ideally, I think he gets a KO. In my opinion, I think he gets a KO. I think that Schnell's, going to be, defensively sound when it comes to the submissions, but I think Morales is just going to be like, screw it. You know what? I got you on the mat here. Let me just hit you in the face and finish you. And I think that's what happens. So, 3-pick parlay of the week. Over 1.5 in the Pennington versus Gomes fight. Ricky Simone, Joseph Morales. Plus 140. We are putting 1.25 units on it. This is smacking, okay? Let's freaking go. All right, moving on to bet number 4. We are rolling with the underdog. Chris Taco Padilla, plus 180. We are putting 1.25 units on it. He is taking on Ismael Bonfim, the bad Bonfim brother, who in my opinion is a quitter and doesn't really have too good of wins in the UFC. All right? Gave up in the BSD fight, okay? Wasn't fighting the hands, tapped quick for that submission. Most recently, in his fight versus Nazim Salikhov, literally just said, you know what, I don't want to continue fighting, yeah. Doctor stoppage, yeah, I can't fight anymore. What even happened? You just gave up in that fight. And then, okay, you beat a 40-year-old Vince Pichel for 3 rounds? Cool. Oh, you knocked out Terrence McKinney in the 2nd round? You know what, it was nasty, I'll give you that, but let's be honest here, guys. 2 years ago, Terrence McKinney in the 2nd round, once he's out of the 1st round, it's all downhill from Terrence McKinney, so caught him with a good one there, I'm not going to lie. But now you're taking on somebody who, Chris Padilla, always counted out. I think he was an underdog in all 3 of his fights in the UFC. Maybe not the Yontop fight, but beating Jai Herbert by split. Beating Rong Zhu with a nasty elbow to the eye. Chris Padilla has good leg kicks. Chris Padilla has good pressure. I anticipate he probably will be on the back foot here because Bonfim is a pressure fiend. But Chris Padilla doesn't give up. Chris Padilla has come through consistently as an underdog. I mean, I doubted him at first, right? But he's slick with the striking. The head movement's pretty good too. And I think that he's just going to be more slick, more clean, and he's going to outdo Bonfim in this fight. I think Padilla is going to take it on the scorecards. I think he goes all 3 rounds. Bonfim may win the 1st round, but after that, again, Chris Padilla is probably going to take over. And I don't bet on quitters, man. I think Bonfim is a quitter. I can't back or bet on quitters. Once I saw that Padilla was fighting him, I said, oh, okay. The underdog who's never given up in a fight, who people count out and is 3-0 in the UFC, looks consistently good, has nice power, going up against an overrated Bonfim who is probably only the favorite because his brother's on the card, and is a quitter. Nope, not doing it. Chris Taco Padilla, plus 180, 1.25 units on it. If my boy wins, I'll come back on this video next week eating a freaking taco. Mark my words. Okay? That's bet number 4 of the week. Let's go. All right, moving on to bet number 5, our last bet for the video. Maybe more this week, okay? If I do put out more bets, gotta check the Twitter and check the pin comment on this video. But our last bet for this video, bet number 5, little 2-pick parlay. First leg, fight does not start round 3 in the Salikhov versus Medic fight. Second leg, Gabriel Bonfim money line. Plus 103, we are putting 1 unit on it. Let's go over each leg. First, fight does not start round 3 in the Salikhov versus Medic fight. Now, I was looking at the under, minus 180. I'm going to pay a little bit of juice to get it for the whole 2nd round because I've seen Medic and Salikhov getting here into the 2nd rounds and find late finishes in the 2nd round, and everyone's going to be betting the under 1.5. If it does happen to go over a little bit under 1.5, we got the whole second round covered. I think one of these guys is getting knocked out, okay? Medic, glass chin, it is bad. Once he gets hit with a clean one, he's going to get floored, okay? We saw him get kind of rocked by Urbina in the last fight, and he really ain't that good, okay? And Salikhov is a menace, right? 2 straight knockouts, flatline Carlos Leal, the nasty head kick over Song Qinan. Looked damn good, but he's 41 years old. Medic is definitely going to be younger, quicker, probably a little bit stronger. But Medic is chinny too, so I definitely am on the Salikhov side. But one of these guys is going to get finished. It's probably going to happen in the first round. So that's my take on the first leg there. And the second leg, Gabriel Bonfim, the good Bonfim brother, taking on Randy Rude Boy Brown. And Randy Brown's weakness is takedowns. Gabriel Bonfim is going to expose that. He's probably going to find the back and snatch up a rear naked choke probably pretty quick within the first round or two, to be honest with you. Gabriel Bonfim is nice with the takedowns. Yeah, you're going to be like, well, he didn't use that in the Wonderboy fight. Wonderboy has amazing, tremendous takedown defense. Like, nobody was really able to take him down. And if so, he pops right back up. And I believe that Randy Brown is going to be on the ground, not going to be able to get up. Bonfim is just much more experienced on the mat than he is. Probably lock up that triangle easy. And then go to work from there. Rear naked choke, in my opinion. So, fight does not start round 3 in the Salikhov versus Medic fight. And Gabriel Bonfim money line. Plus 103. We are putting 1 unit. That is bet number 5 of the week. Let's go. All right, guys. Those are the 5 official bets for UFC Vegas 110. If there are more to come, please check the pinned comment on this video. Check my Twitter. That's where I post any updates, new plays, or plays I withdraw sometimes. For example, the Lucas Almeida bet quite a while ago when he had a damn broken hand. I think he probably would have had a solid chance to win that fight if he didn't have a broken hand. But anyway, right? Just an example of, these bets are subject to change. So always check the pinned comment, check my Twitter for any updates. Patreon is free. Links in the description. That's where you can see all of these bets in this video when I actually place them, okay? Because the odds always sway in the opposite way. Sometimes you can't get the odds as good as they are in this video, but you can if you subscribe to the Patreon. Again, link is in the description. That's where you can see all my bets when I place them. And then lastly, subscribe to your boy on YouTube. We're on the road to 400, okay? We just hit 350 yesterday, so I would really appreciate it. Click that button for me down there. UFC Vegas 111, one of the last cards at the Apex here this year. Let's have a good run, okay? Let's start a little bit of a hot streak, okay? We ended the cold streak. Let's start up on a hot streak. Yeah? Sound good? All right, cool. Young Pasty. Out. Let's go.